Wait, what did I say?
Well, I know that there's a massive game where a lot of people are sitting on thrones.
The first one was so much better. The spooky month. If this is your first time clicking on one of my videos, then you probably wouldn't know that I love romance books. But also if you've been around for a little while, then you definitely know I am privy to a romance book. I'm pretty sure my last few videos have included at least one Elsie Silver book. Now I'm not going to come up in this video and pretend like every romance book is a work of art. If you've clicked on this video for the peak of literature, for Shakespearean Romeo and Juliet type of romance reading, you're going to be sadly disappointed. When I say that I love love, I mean that I love the trashy type of romance. I love the cringy, who touched my woman type of romance. That monster, contemporary type of romance, just to get the vibe set. And I know I said contemporary, but cowboys, anything to do with horsemen, that's their own category, because they hold a special place in my heart, okay?
Okay.
I don't know if it's just me, but October felt like a disastrous month, which is horrendous because October is the spooky month and it should be the perfect month. But October has felt kind of trash. So I needed a little pick-me-up. And so this week I'm going to be reading romance books. My favorite kind of books that I eat them up. I just love them so much, guys. Now the first book that I'm going to be talking about for this video is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. Did I not just say that all of my videos have included Elsie Silver? Yes, I do want to preface this by saying that I hated Wait, what did I say? I'm reading Wild Eyes. I think I said Wild Love. Anyway, I hated Wild Love. That was the lowest tier. I mean, I haven't read Beau's book from Chestnut Springs, but right now the lowest tier book on Elsie Silver's list. For me personally, I know that a lot of people love Wild Love. I don't get it, but I know that that's a thing. And people don't really like Wild Eyes, which to me is insane because this book is perfect. I don't typically like kids in books. Not to say, well, most of them just feel annoying. But Ollie and Emmy, I would kill you if you came for them. I would commit a crime of some sort if somebody was to say anything about these two beautiful little children in this book. Today's Tuesday. I started this book Sunday night. So I've read 316 pages. It feels like a lot more, and I don't know if that's just because like the pages are thick or something. 316 pages. I am having such a good time. I'm having literally the best time. Complete polar opposite to that fucking book. This is my favorite. If I was an otter, this would be my stone. This would be my rock. And actually, speaking of romance, I bought The Striker by Anna Huang. I might be saying her last name wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's right. Look at the size of this fucking book. What? Tell me why. This book is almost 600 pages. It's a contemporary romance. I'm not reading this week. I just wanted to point out the fact that this is 600 pages, but I'm not going to be happy about it, or maybe I will. I don't actually know because I eat her writing up. I really don't know what I'm going to read apart from Wild Eyes. I am just so invested in this book and I don't want it to end, and it's coming to an end. I'm not going to try and pretend like I have a TBR for this video. You will know when I know what I'm reading, to be honest. And then I will probably need like an hour of mourning after finishing Wild Eyes. But that's what we're going to be doing this week. And who doesn't love a bit of love?
escapes me as my cock grows hard, the ridges on it swelling. I bury my face between her legs so I can taste all of her.
This guy is eating my pussy like a champ. His head lifts, and he nuzzles at my bush, mumbling something again. It wasn't a monster come to eat me. It was this monster, who's come to eat me out. It strikes me as incredibly ludicrous, and I want to laugh, but I'm too terrified. Even though my every instinct is telling me to find my clothes and get the hell out of Dodge, wider, I do so. I'll get up and protest in just a minute.
My mate, the residence of my queen, my new reason for existing, has just planted her tiny strange foot in my chest and monstrous suckles and pull a new queen from its death so she will no longer suffer. I'm puzzled as to why she would hurt herself. I rub my chest where her tiny foot landed. Without her leathers, her body seems How can she? There is no queen inside her to resonate. Clearly, the gods have sent that strange nipple between her legs. I find it arousing because it makes me think of how she tastes. I want her red eyes. Yes, I know. Fear not. We will perform the ceremony when we return home to the tribe. Shoshi, Shoshi. Her own name is garbled syllables, but I try to pronounce it to make her happy. Shoshi she is. And Shoshi is a mystery to me.
I finished listening to Ice Planet Barbarians on the way here. What a silly, goofy time. The silliest, goofiest of times. I had way more fun with that book than I thought I would. I didn't go in with any expectations, just because I like to keep my expectations low for romance, and then I won't get so disappointed, even though some romance books still do disappoint me. Wild Love.
Stop! He's already dead.
That was good. It had a lot more plot. It just had a lot more than I thought it would. It was far more developed than I thought it would be. Why were my expectations so low that I just didn't think that there was going to be any sort of developed plot? I say plot loosely because there was a lot of vibes. Later on I'm going to read more of Wild Lies because I left it off at a really juicy part. Emotionally, I couldn't handle what was about to happen, even though it was just a sexy scene. You know when you need to be in the moment? In the groove, you need to be in the mindset.
His voice dropped, but also about you. Why? Why what? Why do you care? Silence hummed in the space between us, so taut it threatened to snap at any second. Josh's Adam's apple bobbed with the force of his swallow, but he didn't reply. Times I thought someone cared about me when they only wanted something from me, and when they got it, they tossed me aside without a second thought. Until, of course, they needed something again. I heard what you said.
Or her insolent tone. But there was something more important we needed to discuss besides Asher. We can pause. A dark, ugly beast reared its head and snarled in my chest. The fuck we will. Who the fuck could she possibly want to date anyway? Asher Donovan? Because you're mine, I said against her mouth. Let another man touch you, Jules, and you'll find out just how easily I can take a man's life as I can save one.
I'm sorry to tell you that Mrs. Miller died this afternoon. I barely heard the rest of her words through the roar in my ears. Adeline Miller. My mom. My mom was dead.
34. Josh.
Very shoulder. His distinctive dimple, as his lips curved into a smile so soft it obliterated all the edges of my resistance. Surprise. Josh's voice seeped through me like warm honey. Miss me. My mouth opened and closed in what I presume was a deep...
Worst so much. Page 325 of this book. If you know, you know. I'm gonna have a fucking heart attack. What?
The Lannisters send their regards.
You haven't even watched Game of Thrones.
Well, I know that there's a massive game where a lot of people are sitting on thrones, and that's enough about it as I need. There's also brothers and sisters fucking, and it sounds good for me.
Do you want
Show me. That's really cute. You can get a fucking Live in La Vida Loca. Yeah, that's hard. That's really sick.
Thanks.
Now that I think about it, he was, so my great nonno Umancino, that was his cat back in Sicily. Umancino Mangiacul. That was him. And that was his cat.
Yeah.
That was his cat. That was his cat. Smash times a million.
If you recognize this shirt, it's because I'm a creature of habit and I own a washing machine. I can't be blamed for wearing the same shirt 15 million times in a row. That and all of the other shirts that I wear 15 million times in a row. I just like oversized shirts, especially when today is meant to be 34 degrees, which is 93 degrees Fahrenheit for all of my American baddies out there. So it's fucking hot. It's fucking hot, hence why everything is closed. With how pasty I am, I have no business being near the sun on days like today, or just any day that the UV rating is high as fuck. So I'm here to wrap up the video and talk about the books that I read this week because there was a lot. There was 5 and a bit books. So I finished off the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I read I listened to the last 2, Twisted Lies and Twisted Hate. And then I started the Ice Planet Barbarian series. So I listened to number 1 and I listened to number 2. I read Wild Eyes and I read a bit of Dead Romantics. So I'll start off with the Anna Huang books. I rated them both 3 stars. I liked the last book more than I liked the 3rd book, but I'm also pretty certain that the male lead in the last book is somebody who we don't like, and I can't remember why we don't like him. I think it has something to do with how he behaves in another book. Whether that's the King series or earlier on in the Twisted series, I can't remember, but I will say the dick security guy with murder on his mind appealed to me more than Josh Chen, which he was the male lead for the 3rd book. He was fine. I mean, he was, you know, a doctor or whatever the fuck he was. I don't know. It just wasn't... I think that says more about me than it does about the books, because I should like the doctor type more, and yet here I am telling you that Christian Harper was my preferred out of the 2. But I digress. I've finished that series. I don't think there's any more planned books. I haven't actually googled that. Okay, yes, okay. It's complete. I won't lie, the AI overview feature on Google, I don't know if that's everywhere. I really fuck with that. that is super helpful. And the fact that it links everything. Now, Ice Planet Barbarians, that's a new series for me. It's one that I've looked at for a really long time, and I think because of the sheer size of the series, I've been really reluctant to start it. Or not reluctant, I've been really scared to start it. But I finally bit the bullet because the audiobook is like 6 hours, or like 3 hours if you have it on 2 times speed. I think that's correct. Or it's 14 hours and it's 6 hours on 2 times speed. I can't remember. All I know is that when I was listening to them, it felt like they just were over so quickly. I enjoyed the first one so much more than the second one. The second one, I just wanted it to be over. I did not like Liz, and I don't know what the hot takes are or what the general consensus is with that series and who we like. I'm looking forward to Kira's book, but out of the first 2, the second one was my least favorite. The first one had me laughing out loud, and whilst it was a bit full on in the start, I won't lie, definitely check trigger warnings, at least for the first book. It was very funny. I found that I was laughing out loud a lot, and I don't typically physically have reactions to books, and typically if I cry or if I am able to actually laugh out loud at what's being said, then that indicates to me that I'll probably give it a higher rating than if I was just, oh my god, that was so funny. Oh my god, I'm laughing so hard right now. You know what I mean? I gave the first book 4 stars, and I'm really compelled to give the second one 2 stars because I think I gave it 3 on Goodreads. But the more that I think about the book, the more upset it makes me. Not for anything, but I just strongly dislike. I mean, I liked Rahush, the main guy, but Liz, she made me so annoyed. Anyway, I'm not going to keep going on about it because I won't shut the fuck up. But that is the 4 books that I listened to in the last week, and great times to be had. Mostly vibes. I understand that there's like, you know, the plot that centers around the 3rd act breakup or the 3rd act conflict, whatever the issue is. I just wouldn't call that plot. So they were just vibes, and they were mostly good vibes, except for the second book in Ice Planet Barbarians. I got through a little bit of the Dead Romantics. This was probably a bad time for me to start a book about death and romance because it hit me right in the feels, and I just started crying and put it down. So I will pick it up because I really liked the writing, at least in the first bit. There was a few moments that I tabbed already, but yeah, I was just not in the right headspace for this, so it's not you, it's me. So I'm going to pick that up probably not anytime soon, a little bit down the line. And then my favorite and final and 5-star read, Wild Eyes. Holy fuck, holy shit. If I could inject a book into my veins, it would be this book. I need it on an IV drip being injected into me at all times. I need to wake up with some form of book amnesia so that I can reread this every single fucking day and love it every single fucking day in the way that I was able to love it on my first time reading this. For somebody who doesn't really tab, especially in a romance book, this was quite a lot of tabs. I will say there are so many tabs where it's just West being horny, or like both of them, but like West's part in that, because my god, my fucking god, not only is he a good man with his kids, he knows how to fuck, and I'm just genuinely, this is probably my favorite book of Elsie Silver's. The one thing that annoyed me though, I won't lie to you, is the fact that he only had tattoos like on his fingers, or like I think it like, or the knuckles or whatever that annoyed me. No tattoos anywhere else, just on your fingers. That's a really weird, that's probably more of a real life issue. Like he literally fucks around with horses all day. I don't think he's worried about a job ruiner before any of his other tattoos. So before I get high, well, I've already gotten high and mighty about that, but anyway, I will not continue getting high and mighty about that, but read this book. I think that it's not the general consensus that this is people's favorite, but I don't understand the gripes. Actually, let's read some 1-star reviews of this book. Wow, what a first ripper. Wild day to have eyes because mine sure suffered reading this. Wow, that's incredible. Wish the bear had eaten her. This book is horrible. Smiley face. There's a lot of comments about people not feeling the chemistry. Were we reading the same book? The first one was so much better. I fucking hate Wild Love, and I need to stop talking about it. DNF 59%, all of her books are the same, so stop reading them. That is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I did so much more reading than what I thought. I left a lot of it out, mostly because if I'm showing you that I'm reading an audiobook, it's obviously going to contain spoilers, and I try not to spoil books, or I try not to insert spoilers without either saying that they're spoilers, or I just try not to include them, because I would prefer people don't sit there and have to skip through my entire video because most of it is spoilers. Hence why when I'm reading Wild Love and things like that, I prefer to show my reactions, because you can't see what's on the page, you don't know what the fuck's going on. But if I give you a page reference, that's different. Whereas with Ice Planet Barbarians or something of the like, I don't want to sit there and just drop clips of audiobooks and then somebody has to skip through it. Or if I do that, I will put it in one section so it's just an easy skip. I hope you're having a good morning, a good day, a good night, or a good evening wherever you are in the world, and I'll catch you in the next video.